Hi, my name is Kailey Frankenfield, and today I'm going to be discussing the solution for needle exchange programs. My goal is to propose a solution to you about the problems with the needle exchange program and persuade you to agree with the solution. Needle exchange programs increase drug use among current drug users, increase the amount of new drug users, and increase crime rates. Therefore, needle exchange programs should be shut down, and the money should be allocated to drug rehabilitation services and keeping the community clean from contaminated needles. Research shows that there is an increase in drug use surrounding needle exchange programs, as well as an increase in crime rates. While needle exchange programs strive to benefit the community and help drug users, they fall short due to the vast amount of problems they cause. Today, I will be discussing why needle exchange programs are not helping the community, why they need to be eradicated, and where the money that was supporting the programs should go. To start off, I would like to share some of the cons of the needle exchange program. To summarize, some of the cons of the needle exchange program are enabling current drug users to continue their addiction, since the needle exchange programs usually offer free sterile needles in exchange for used needles. This allows drug users to continue using drugs safely, and most likely the person will have no desire to quit. The next con is increasing the number of people who start injecting drugs. It may be more desirable for a person to start injecting drugs since they know they will have access to sterile needles constantly. Continuing, another con is an increase in taxes to support the program. As this program is funded by taxpayer money, it would increase the taxes in the area where the programs are located. This program only benefits a small portion of the community. Many people have an issue with their taxes supporting the enabling of drug use. Next, an increase in crime rates near the needle exchange program is also reported. Since the rates of drug use increase within the area surrounding the needle exchange programs, there's usually an increase in the crime rate too. Next, needle exchange programs cannot reach every drug user. This means that not every person who uses drugs has access to a sterile needle when they need them. So this means that people are still using needles that are contaminated and sharing needles, and that the programs only affect people surrounding them. Lastly, according to a journal written by Amen and Blom titled Mortality and Causes of Death Among People Who Inject Amphetamine in 2018, people who inject drugs but also use the needle exchange program still have a higher risk of death than the general population. This evidence shows that even though the needle exchange programs are trying to help drug users, they are still at a much greater risk of mortality than the general public. Now you may be asking, why should needle exchange programs be shut down? Some people think that there are solutions to the problem caused by the needle exchange programs and that they can be fixed, and that the needle exchange programs don't need to be shut down. But this is just not the case. Needle exchange programs cause more harm than good to the community. This is because an increase in crime rate and drug use, it does not completely get rid of the risk of infection of HIV and hepatitis B or C. It's still possible to contract the disease while using the needle exchange program. Since taxpayer money was being used to support this program, the taxpayer money should be relocated to supporting drug rehabilitation and mental health services. One of the few pros of the needle exchange program was access to mental health and rehabilitation services. This program should be continued to help addicts who would like to get better. The members of the community will also be much more satisfied that their taxpayer money is going to drug rehabilitation services and mental health services instead of providing needles to drug addicts. Also, the rest of the taxpayer money that used to be supporting the needle exchange programs should be used to keep the streets free of contaminated needles. Another one of the few pros of the needle exchange program was the incentive to not litter contaminated needles into the streets. But without the needle exchange program, the incentive goes away and drug users may throw their contaminated needles into the streets after use. But with the money that's not being used to support drug addicts' addictions, there can be people who clean the streets weekly, primarily focusing on picking up used needles. This way, the community remains clean while also not supporting drug users' addictions. In conclusion, needle exchange programs do more harm than good for the community and need to be shut down. Due to the increase in drug use and the increase in crime rates, it's obvious the needle exchange program caused a lot of problems within the community. The only solution to this problem is to shut them down completely and relocate the funds the program were receiving. The money will go to support drug rehabilitation services and mental health services to help people who are addicted to drugs and want to better themselves. The rest of the money can go to keeping the streets clean of contaminated needles in order to keep the community clean and healthy. Although needle exchange programs are supposed to help people to be more safe and healthy, the program fell short of expectations. The main goal of the program was to reduce the risk of HIV and hepatitis B and C. Although it did do that, it did not completely diminish the risk, and therefore the point of the program is useless. Thank you for listening to me talk about the solution for the needle exchange program.